I read this book in 26 minutes, and I'm feeling motivated to be intentional about the work that I do because I better understand wise decisions, messengers, and journaling. So let's get into it. This is 26-minute reads with me, Mya D, and this reading vlog is kind of like my accountability space because in these videos, I share with you my takeaways from my reading. And this is book number 2 of my 26 to 26 reading challenge, where I'm reading 26 minutes per day, every day, as an act of self-love, as an investment into myself, and as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever-changing world. So this is more like slow reading rather than speed reading, and I hope that encourages you to join me along in this journey by reading along with me and dropping your comments and your thoughts in that comment section below so there's an actual dialogue going on. Well, this week I read pages 123 through 169 of Dancing the Afrofuture by Dr. Halifu Osumari, and let's get into these takeaways. Takeaway number 1, as I get my notes, is wise decision. And on page 130 of the book, we find these words, and I quote, "This obviously turned out to be a wise decision, as the film short, Katherine Dunham's personal greeting to the Northern California Dunham Legacy Group, became a recording of Miss Dunham thanking the audience for attending her birthday event 1 month after she died." Now, complete sidebar, I live in an apartment and there is a beautiful little one across the hall and she is living her very best life. So we might hear her living her very best life, and that is okay because we're going to keep going with this video. Now, to give you some context, right? Dr. Katherine Dunham, Miss Dunham, passed in the year 2006. The Northern Dunham Legacy Committee was formed 1 year prior to Miss Dunham's passing, and it was made up of some local proteges with the intention of planning the celebration that would take place on Dunham's 97th birthday. That's really beautiful. The 3-day event was scheduled from June 8th through June 10th of 2006 and would include performances, movement classes, and presentations and so forth. To live to be 97 is a blessing, but it's not a blessing just to that person that lived those 97 years. It's actually a blessing to the community in which that person resides because that person is a wealth of knowledge. Now, the planning committee, they understood this and they wanted to celebrate this. So they intentionally planned this event that would honor Dunham's legacy in the present, reminding people of her past accomplishments and the beautiful things that had been done while creating a pathway for the future, for future ways of sharing knowledge. Yes, there we go, of future ways of sharing knowledge. As stated in the quote, as stated in the quote that began this takeaway, this was a wise decision because Miss Dunham passed in May of 2006. But because the work was done, Dunham was able to welcome the group to her 97th birthday and this event, even though she was no longer physically present with us at that time because she had already passed. I felt like this was a beautifully wise decision to do the work and a reminder to do the work. To do this type of work means that we have to evaluate what's going on in our present, think about what's valuable and how we want to, or what we want to take into the future, and then plan for those things to be taken into the future. So we're talking about legacy planning. We're talking about knowledge transference, right? So knowledge management. We're talking about all those things so that the future still has access to all of the cultural technology, the wisdom, and all of the blessings of the previous generations. Now, as we step into takeaway number 2, I feel like it's a great moment to say that while I am a dancer, an educator, and curriculum writer with several decades of experience, I am not the know-all be-all for this book. I'm simply providing a space for dialogue so that we are better educators for those that are in front of us and those that are coming after us. Think about that as we step into takeaway number 2. Takeaway number 2 is messenger. And on page 147 of the book, we find these words, and I quote, "I left the theater feeling rewarded that the dance itself stood on solid ground. Ailey's message is even stronger than the messenger's," end quote. These words are pulled from Dr. Halifu's journal entry as she reflects on seeing a performance of Revelations, one of Alvin Ailey Dance Theater's like more prominent pieces, I would say. But, you know, what adjective would you place in that? You can let me know in the comments below. Now, this is a deep one because Dr. Halifu has seen this piece across many years, and she actually saw it with the original cast, and now she's seeing it being performed by another generation of dancers. So what we're actually talking about once again is that transmission of cultural technology, and in this case it's manifesting within the retelling of a story, those stories that are embedded into that Revelations choreography. So I feel like this is kind of like when a little one is telling a story to an elder that was present for the actual event. And that elder then is like looking to see how well that story holds up, what's there, what's missing, what's been dropped out, what's been added. Now, to be clear, these dancers are not actual youngins. They're not actually little ones. They are trained Ailey company members, which means that they are knowledgeable about movement. They're just young in relation to Dr. Osumari's chronological age. At the same time, they are not the dancers that work directly under Alvin Ailey, which simply translates to these performers are not getting the message from the original messenger. They're receiving the information secondhand. So kind of think of like it, like the game of telephone where the message goes through and sometimes it changes and sometimes it's very different than how it started off. During the creative process, the inner artist in me often asks myself, what's the intention of the work? And how is that intention going to be transmitted to the audience? And how will they receive it? And how much control I have over how they receive and what they receive. This statement is also, to me, reminiscent of something mentioned in the book Giving Life to Movement that we read some time ago, where Rosangela Silvestre talks about the value of the message being embedded in the movement. So as an artist, I believe that having a piece that continues to voice your thoughts and your concerns, your ideas, even after your physical body is no longer there, is certainly a level of success. This idea of creating a message that echoes long after you, that's a strong message. That's a strong thing. But what say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because, you know, we want that dialogue going on. How much do you consider in your planning process, in your creative process? How much are you thinking about retaining the retention of your original message? How much are you considering, or are you considering the possibility of this being an immortal, a long-standing message? As we step into takeaway number 3. Takeaway number 3 is journals. And this is a quick one. I feel like this is a quick one because I would say that journals are a saving grace. I often ask my students in my studio-based courses to have a journal that they bring with them to class. And whether they use that journal to write down the actual movement phrases we did, or if they use it to offload thoughts and questions and concerns that come up for them, or sometimes they might use it, come back, well, the screen went black for a second, or sometimes they might use it to as a combination of the both. Either way, journaling is amazing. It's a therapeutic tool. It's a tool for studying. It's a device that you can use for creation and for problem solving. I once saw the power of journaling when I was working in a therapeutic setting. There was this mother who began to keep a journal when she found out she was pregnant, and she kept that journal throughout the pregnancy. And in that journal, the team of specialists that I was working with, we were able to pinpoint a change in the child's development and then create strategies for moving forward because of that journal. Now, I've kept a journal for many years, and in my writing moments, I had no idea how that information would be used in the future. I was just, once again, offloading, I'm just offloading. I write in my journal daily. I'm a daily journal writer in addition to my dance journals. But it came into play. It became very, very helpful in my MFA thesis writing. Now, it's because of my lived experience that I was pleasantly surprised at how Dr. Osumari's journal entries are included throughout the book. To my knowledge, we haven't figured out how to travel back in time, to my knowledge. So, if you know different, bless your heart. To my knowledge, we don't know how to travel back in time, but journaling actually works as a time capsule, right? It allows us to revisit the past and sometimes gain the clarity we need to go forward. Osumari does a wonderful job of taking us on this journey through her book that crosses several years and several continents in the world. The inclusion of the journal entries provides this deeper glimpse into these past moments, and I just love that. So as we close out this takeaway, my last questions to you would be, how does journaling exist in your life? Do you journal? If so, when and why do you journal? Now, the geek in me, I'm going to be very clear, the geek in me has a special interest in these kinds of questions around journaling because my MFA thesis examined the use of writing and movement as therapeutic modalities for healing. It also served as the motivation and the inspiration for my guided journal collection. So you can check that out in the details below. Also, I'm always looking for a good book, and I'm pretty much at the end of this book. So if you have a title, drop that title in the comments below, or just drop a book emoji so that I know that you were here with me. Like this video and subscribe if you liked this video or found it interesting in any other kind of way. Stay blessed, spread a good word, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.